Images coming in of Prime Minister Modi, part of Navy Day celebrations. Here's big images. Gaurav Sawant joins me right here in the studios. Gaurav, Modi attending the Navy Day celebration will also be unveiling Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue at Rajkot Fort.
इस पूरे मिशन को ऑपरेशन ट्राइडेंट का नाम दिया गया था। दरअसल 1971 में
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying his respects to the founder of the Hinduvi Swaraj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And this is an equestrian statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Flanking the Prime Minister is also the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, also the Chief of Naval Staff. That's the naval salute to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of the modern Indian Navy. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue at the Rajkot Fort at Sindhudurg. Now, 4th of December is also Navy Day. It is this day that the Indian Navy had actually bombed Karachi in the 1971 war. This is very, very crucial. This is part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's strong initiative to remove all the colonial hangover from the Indian armed forces, step by step. So the St. George's Cross was removed from the ensign or the flag of the Indian Navy, and the octagon or ashtakor of the Maratha Navy was included, and that 8 angles ashtakor of the Maratha Navy. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of the Hinduvi Swaraj, he founded the modern Indian Navy. Of course, the Cholas had a very strong navy, and the Cholas had expanded India's naval our powers, our country's influence all across Southeast Asia, and that influence can still be seen today. But when we talk about the modern Indian context, that is where Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, right? In the 1660s, he realized the significance, the importance of having a strong navy. The first admiral of the modern Indian Navy, of the Maratha Navy, was Kanhoji Angre. And all across, so whether it's the Sindhudurg fort that we are talking of today, the Rajkot Fort, or a series of other forts, fortresses and small camps that came up all along the Konkan coast or the western India coast, where it was the Portuguese or the British who had started collecting taxes or controlling ports and harbors, and that is where Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj realized that having a navy and a strong navy is very important. And that's where they started laying the foundation stone, from small boats to bigger ships. And technical expertise was sought and taken from everywhere, including from the Portuguese, bigger ships. When the Hinduvi Swaraj was founded, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj became the king or the emperor, his navy, according to historical accounts, had about 50 big ships. It has about more than 10,000 sailors. It had admirals. Kanhoji Angre was the admiral. So there you're looking at images of the Prime Minister actually going through that entire, that image that you see of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his navy. All of that, Nabila, is there on display for future generations to know.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as he takes a look at that art gallery, also displaying very clearly the prowess of the Navy along that region in Sindhudurg, like Gaurav really spelt that out on the significance of the Navy that was born and strengthened in that very region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's just reached Sindhudurg this afternoon, he's participating in the Navy Day celebrations there. That's going to be held at that picturesque Tarkarli beach. Those are images coming in, and also we are going to be seeing operational demonstrations by the submarines, teams showing naval ships, submarines, etc., aircrafts. All of that, the operational demonstrations will be displayed right before Prime Minister Narendra Modi today on Navy Day. It's going to be a special moment for all the forces who are working with this kind of mechanism. Today, get to boast of it.
This is the first time that Navy Day is being celebrated at Sindhudurg. You're absolutely right. There will be a huge display of strength. So you will have the INS Vikramaditya, the aircraft carrier. You will have the submarine of the Indian Navy. You will have a number of destroyers and frigates of the Indian Navy. All of them will be lined up, and there will be a display. So you'll have the Marcos or the Marine Commandos of the Indian Navy who will carry out a special op demo or an operational demonstration of how they would, attack a beach and take over a hostile territory. Remember in 1971, this was the day, 4th of December, when Indian Navy ships went and bombed the Karachi harbour, and Karachi burned for the next 11 days. And Indian Navy very successfully blockaded the Karachi port and coast. No foreign help could come Pakistan's way in the 1971 war on this coast. Of course, you had our aircraft carrier then on the east coast, again playing a very important role. All of this goes on to show, and remember, this is one point. Like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj realized the power of the Navy. India has a huge coastline. Almost 7,000 kilometers is our coastline. Independent India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, had made a very crucial point. He'd said, whoever controls the sea controls the destiny of the nation and controls economy. Remember, Nabila, this is the Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean region is our region and we control it. That shows the stronger our Navy, the stronger the economy, the more influence we'll have all across this region. The Prime Minister realizes it, and that is why this big push towards Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India in defense, the Navy in a way is actually spearheading it and leading it for decades.
And we see the greetings that Prime Minister Modi has got on the Indian Navy Day. He's arrived with those images playing out. Of course, he's also going to be proceeding to Sindhudurg Fort to pay his respects at that very sole temple of Chhatrapati Shivaji Gaurav. The significance of Chhatrapati Shivaji on Navy Day, you've spelt it out, but I'd like you to reiterate on how the Indian Navy was strengthened within that region of Sindhudurg.
Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj fought battles from a very young age. He actually, in a way, symbolizes Indians rising against oppression, rising against foreign rule, and rising to take over and their own territory, their own country, putting forward their culture, putting forward what is extremely significant. So Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj symbolizes that power on land and at sea. He realized the significance of controlling sea. So remember that raid of Surat, again, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was expanding his empire. So let's talk about the 1660s when several raids were being carried out. This was the time that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his army realized that you have to control the sea. That is where you control revenue. The Portuguese were doing it. The British had started doing it. The Mughals really did not stretch their sea legs at all. They were more land-based, and naturally the distance from Agra was so much, also from Delhi, controlling it for them. While Aurangzeb did, come down south, but Aurangzeb, you'd recall, fighting Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and subsequently the Marathas, he was killed in 1707. But before that, in 1674, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj became the founder of the Hinduvi Swaraj or the Hindu Swaraj or the rise of the Hindus once again against foreign oppression or Mughals or outsiders, this was when he realized how you needed a very strong navy, and Admiral Kanhoji Angre played a critical role. But if I may, he also had, very strong Muslim sailors and officers in his navy. Daulat Khan is one name that comes to mind. So Kanhoji Angre was there, Daulat Khan was there. There was also one advisor, naval commander called Darya Sarang Ventji, again played a very crucial role in strengthening coastal security and building bigger ships for the Maratha Navy to ensure that the Portuguese were not unchallenged.
Well, it's also a day that we laud the Indian Navy for the commitment that its commitment to ensuring the coastline of India is protected. Maritime security is really something that we take so lightly, Gaurav, but as we see, we have a 7,000-kilometer long coast, and of which we are vulnerable to various threats, including terrorism. So a strong Indian Navy is what India needs, and we are seeing that kind of prowess among the Navy officers, the ammunition that's been added to their arsenal. Prime Minister Modi being one of them to give that push.
You're absolutely right. So, when you talk about the threat that India faces, and this threat is at multiple levels. 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks in 2008, we realized how vulnerable our coast remains. But you'd recall 1993 when Dawood Ibrahim was used by Pakistan's ISI to send explosives into India, and 257 people died in 13 blasts across Mumbai in 1993. So our coastline was vulnerable. No lessons learned. 2008, Pakistan again used the same route to send in terrorists into our India. So our coastal security is actually divided into multiple layers. You have the coastal police, which is the state police. Then you have the Coast Guard to man a certain length from coastline up to your exclusive economic zone. And then you have the Indian Navy. The Indian Navy is more of your offensive force, more than just guarding your coast. It is actually your strategic force protecting your assets, or protecting not just your 7,000-kilometer long coastline, but also projecting your power across the world. And India has done it. Remember, if it's rescuing our people from Yemen, Indian Navy ships were involved. If it is projecting your sea power, or remember when an operation had to be undertaken in Maldives, the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force played a very critical role. So Indian Navy, right now our Indian Navy ships are carrying out patrols from the North Arabian Sea to the South China Sea, including in the Malacca Straits region. So Navy is actually the country's power projection.
And our country's pride as well. And today is the day that we give a grand salute to the Indian Navy, as Prime Minister Modi has also arrived to be part of this very Navy Day celebration in Sindhudurg. Thanks very much, Gaurav.